Hi everyone, welcome to Border Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie, you're not, and neither's this bloke. This is GT from What University, Southeast Asian clan. Actually, by the time this video goes up, he is now in 2AR, the sister clan of 1AR, on the Asian server. And you can see he's driving backwards, and he's got a very good reason for that. This Tier 5 British tank destroyer goes quicker in reverse than it does going forward, similar to the Tier 7 artillery piece, the Crusader SP, I think it's called. And in this game, it's a bit of an unusual battle, this one. It's an unusual ace. As you can see him aiming in on the IKV 103. Doesn't hit it, but he does track him, and for that he picks up 350 assisted damage. Now, this is a bit of an unusual game, this one. He's doing the right thing in his Tier 5 tank destroyer. Too often you see people who are bottom tier in water tanks complaining that they're low tier. And look, even if you're top tier in a tank like the Archer, you're not going to be up the front dishing out damage to enemy tanks or taking shots, more to the point. You're going to be doing what GT's doing right now. It's already picked up 159 damage on the T150 and 350 assisted damage. That's from tracking that dead IKV 103. But he's in the Tier 7 game. Gets a critical hit on the VK3001H, the Tier 5 German heavy tank, and he's just kicking back here, looking for opportunities, looking for shots on tanks up in the north. You can see the T1 heavy on the minimap going on a bit of a hero run. You'd be thinking your team are looking pretty good at the moment. 3-zip, winning 3-zip, but a lot of the tanks are down here, and it's a place I never like to go on this map. What is this map? Melanovka. It's one of those maps that I never get right. 4-1's the score now. He's on 159 damage done, 350 assisted damage. Just kicking back here amongst the bushes. He's got a camouflage net to make it a little bit harder for the enemy tanks to see him. He hasn't been tempted to go straight for APCR rounds. He's just kicking back here, waiting for tanks to get lit. They're winning 5-1. He's platooned with his old mate Boost 1984, also from What University, Southeast Asian clan. And of course he moves around, which loses his camo and binos, but he wants to get shots into these tanks. That German medium tank would be a nice juicy target. And here we go. This is why he gets a bit of experience here. He's looking towards the Tier 7 Russian heavy, the KV3. Well, he's not at the moment. Looks like he's going to try and get a cheeky shot into the 120, which 120 not really presenting himself. He is behind. There's a bit of a mound there that he's hiding behind. And with the score on 7-3, you'd think this is looking pretty good. Looks up towards the KV3, smart enough to know that the top tier heavy tank needs to be dealt with, so he gets a shot into the side of the Russian heavy. 7-4's the score as the T29 goes down. They're down to 1 Tier 7 tank on their side and 2 on the enemy side. That T1 heavy gets killed by the Panzer 4H, which is, I'm surprised he lasted that long, let's be honest. T150 is a one-shot. He'd love to pick up the kill on the Tier 6 Russian heavy tank. 8-5 is the score. 302 damage done, 350 assisted. Now he's just kicking back here. Now he set this replay some time ago because he couldn't watch it because it's from patch 9.18. And of course we're at 9.191 now on the Asian server, and I think everywhere else. GT just looking, hoping someone gets vision. That KV3, you'd imagine that KV3 might be rolling down the hill. Now of course when you're low tier, obviously you're in a paper TD, so you're not going to be brawling. But when you're low tier, you do get a bonus with experience. And of course when you damage higher tier tanks, like he's doing now, that's his second shot into the KV3, that's his third shot into the KV3. You get a bonus to the experience you do, and that's why when I saw the results, you know, he didn't do a massive amount of damage in this game, but he does get a fair bit more assisted damage. And of course the damage that he has done is a lot of it's to higher tier tanks. The KV3 at Tier 7, the T150 at Tier 6. Not sure who else he's shot. Now that KV3, I'm not sure if you can tell there, but he is quite well angled. So he didn't penetrate him, but you heard that he blew his tracks off. And now with the fast firing gun of the Archer, all he's doing is just putting more and more pressure on that track. Keep the KV3 tracked and just picking up a little bit of assisted damage. as he goes. Only a small amount at a time, 30, 65 and 76 the last 3 shots, and another 29. I'm not sure who's shooting him. Maybe someone's firing high explosive, or it's the it's certainly not the artillery piece. Oh, it might be the artillery piece, the M44. Continuing with the assisted damage, he knows he can't penetrate the KV3 frontally, and you can see by the outline of the heavy tank that he's basically facing GT, and of course he's also behind a rock. The weak spot of his lower plate is behind a rock or a mound of dirt. Looks towards a T150. That's what you do when you're trying to look for a shot on an enemy tank, is that you wiggle the mouse around. Moves around. It sounds like he tracked him again. KV3 on 271 hit points. GT's picked up 825 assisted damage. Now, bearing in mind, he came into the game with 360 hit points, so he's done over double his health just in assisted damage, as well as nearly 600 damage on his own. It is a bit of an unusual game, this one. You could probably tell by the video description it's going to be an ace. But, just by keeping this KV3 tracked, he's keeping him out of the game. I think I'd be taking that shot. See, you can see he is quite well angled, the Tier 7 Russian heavy. Now, I was speaking to GT just the other day, or a couple of days before I recorded this. It'll be weeks before it goes up, but I said, yeah, I'd love to use it on my channel. Bear in mind, people might be critical. Now, here's what I'm talking about doing damage to higher tier tanks. That's a T20, the American medium tank, at Tier 7. Of course, GT's only at Tier 6, so he's going to be getting more experience for shooting the T20 than he would be for shooting, for example, the Bishop or the Stug at Tier 5, which is the same tier he's at. Turning back to look at that KV3, they really want to get rid of that top tier Russian heavy tank. The KV3 is only on 165 hit points, and finally the IKV 65-2 picks up the kill. Now, the Archer, normally I go through the gun mechanics. 76.2mm gun, 150 damage, 171 penetration, 239 with APCR rounds, which are gold. He's only got 5 shells left, and of course he's got 2 high explosive rounds, 2 APCR rounds, and 1 standard round, which is what's loaded in his gun barrel right now. 7.5 minutes to go, so there's still plenty of time. You can see the T37 just copped a little bit of attention from that T20. Only 5 enemy tanks remaining, 2 artilleries, a Dicamax, a T20, and the Stug. Now, the T20 and the Stug are the only tanks that have been spotted this game. The Dicamax on 1 kill is, look, I'm guessing he's probably kicking back here behind the red spawn, and he's got himself a kill, so he's clearly playing. GT letting his teammates know he's only got 5 rounds left. GW Panther having a ripper of a game at Tier 7 though. He's got 4 kills. Of course, that GW Panther is a pretty heavy hitting artillery. From memory, it's got a pretty long reload, and but when it hits hard. And when you're top tier and you're shooting at lower tier tanks, even with the changes with the stun mechanics and the changes in artillery that have gone on the last couple of months, it's still going to hurt tanks such as the Archer with its open top with no armour at all on the roof. 8-10 the score. GT from what University Southeast Asian Clan now at 2 AR, and his old mate Boost 1984 in the SU-85. They're both still alive, which is good to see. Both on full health by the looks of it, and 6 minutes left on the timer. You can see how slow it goes going forward. That's why it was driving in reverse not so long ago. The slow speed is, I mean, it's good to be slow if you're just trying to go forward a little bit. GT moving into a position where he's going to try and help that T37. That T37 should light up the Stug and the T20, but they're both going to absolutely carve him up once he's lit. You'd imagine the T20's got a pretty good gun and it's pretty quick. The Stug's got a pretty gun at Tier 5, and of course that Dicamax, who hasn't yet been spotted, who might well be back here where artilleries normally sit. That would not be a surprise at all. So GT getting into a position where it can try and help the T37. T20 gets spotted, but there's no shot. There's that piece of land in the way, that hill in the way. The T20 looks like he's gone right back to where Arties and TDs often sit. The Bishop gets lit. He knows he's not going to have a shot. There he is. Look at that. They're behind that hill. T37 doing a good job. No, now he gets taken down to a one-shot, down to 93 hit points. The T37. He does get a shot into the T20, who's on 55 hit points. In the end, the Cromwell picks up the kill on the Tier 7. The IKV 65-2 kills the Bishop, and they're winning 12-9, but it's not over yet. Certainly not over yet. Have a look at the mini-map. You can see where these tanks are. We can't see the Cromwell or the M4A3 Easy 8. They're just out of render range, but the Cromwell's dead. GW Panther picks up the kill on the M44, which was a brilliant move. Probably got spotted. The GW Panther probably got lit up by the Cromwell or the Easy 8. IKV going up the hill. The fact that these tanks are up here means there's probably nothing that can spot GT where he is. So he moves into the cap circle, trying to confirm this win. Of course, it does take over 3 minutes for one person to cap out a base on encounter. I think it might even take 4. And so his platoon mate Boost 984 has joined him on the cap circle. Now you can see where these two TDs are. Look, not much happens, so I'll go through what happens here. This the Archer is behind a mound. He's got his camouflage net mounted, and it will be really hard for the enemy tanks to see him from up here. Boost, on the other hand, is sitting behind a rock, which isn't a bad thing to do, but it's pretty predictable. You would think that if someone was capping it out on in this cap circle, you would either be sitting behind this rock, maybe in this bush. Sometimes you want to be as far away from the enemy as you can to try and minimise the chance of getting lit, so you might be back there, but that is elevated, so I'm not sure if Boost gets spotted, but without giving too much away, he's about to feel the pain. There's the Stug. Now, GT in the Archer, his 6th sense hasn't gone off, so he knows he hasn't been lit. I have watched this before. I'm pretty sure he does have 6th sense. Maybe Boost does as well. That's why he's moving. Easy 8's copping a bit of attention, probably from that Dicker Max, who's way back here, who doesn't have shots, but the Stug certainly does on full health. Dicker Max kills the E8. Boost just got hit by the Stug, and again, Boost puts a shot towards the Stug. GT doing the right thing here, not moving. There's only one enemy tank left, and that's the Dicker Max, the IKV 65-2. Picks up the kill on the Stug. 30 seconds left on the cap timer. You can see GT in the Archer, who's picked up 740 hit points of damage, which is no mean feat. Remember, he only started the game with 360, so that's double the hit points that he brought to the game that he's done on enemy tanks. Most of them on Tier 7s, and 931 assisted. Again, nearly triple, or 2.5 times his hit points. He's still capping the base. He's up to 70%. 10 seconds left before he caps this one out. The Dicker Max, where can that Dicker Max be? The IKV clearly doesn't want to go and try and find him. I'm not sure why, because the IKV is on full health. Dicker Max picks up the kill on Boost, resetting that cap timer again. Takes it down to 40 seconds. GT still not lit. And the IKV. GT picking the map because that's where, Boost 984 picking the map, that's where he was shot from. And look, that Dicker Max would clearly be aiming, probably still aiming towards the cap, because there's only 25 seconds left before he caps this one out. The IKV moving in to try and spot him, and maybe shooting from behind. Of course, the IKV, same as the Dicker Max, does not have a turret. So, now the Dicker Max has worked out that that's where the IKV is, and he's shooting towards the Swedish Tier 6 tank destroyer. 8 seconds left until he caps it out. Artillery has a swing and a miss at the premium tank destroyer, and does GT have a shot as the cap goes out? Yes, caps it out and picks up a kill as well. In the end, I wouldn't call that a comfortable win by any stretch of the imagination, but not a bad result. An unusual Ace Tanker Mastery badge in the Tier 5 British Tank Destroyer, the Archer, the one that goes quicker backwards than it does go forward. Now, looking at the post-game battle results, you could easily think, look, it was a bit of a, well, it was a bit of a boring game. It was, but I wouldn't call it boring. I would more call it patience, and GT 00 in his Archer certainly showed patience in that replay, and for that patience he was rewarded with an Ace Tanker Mastery badge, a Bruiser and 5 for Effect medal, the Confederate for hitting more enemy tanks than anybody else, as well as the Invader medal for getting those 100 cap points. You can see the tanks that he damaged there, even got some assisted damage. Got third in the post-game battle results, only 886 experience. I say only because most of the replays that I see that are ace tankers are well over 1,000 hit points of experience. So maybe not many people are playing the Archer, I'm not sure. But he certainly did his job. Let's have a look at what he did. He fired 35 shots. 25 of those shots hit. There were some blind shots and some poorly aimed shots, but, or not poorly aimed, like the circle wasn't quite, those shots that you just take it, knowing that you probably won't hit it anyway, but you still got to take it because you do hit them every now and then. Only 6 penetrated. Now, for those 6 penetrating shots, he picked up 849 hit points of damage. But those non-penetrating shots, remember he was keeping that KV3 tracked for so long, 931 assisted damage. Most of that assisted damage, if we go back to the previous page, you got 434, no, I stand corrected, 581 assisted damage to the KV3 at tier 7, and of course 350 on the tier 5 Swedish TD as well. But also the damage that he did 400 to the KV3 and also 147 on the T20, both at tier 7, and of course the tier 6s adds up as well, 159 for the T150. Of course you got the kill shot on the Dicamax, and all in all, an unusual ace. That's what I would call this video, an unusual ace tanker. He made himself 17,000 credits with a premium account, and the game went for nearly 14 minutes. But an unusual ace tanker featuring GTD 00 from 2AR. He was with what university? Southeast Asia in the Archer. Thanks for the replay, GT, from patch 9.18. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and see you all next time.